Not a Real Publisher LLC, production of IMD Operations. Integrity, morality, decency. Sit back, get ready. IMD Operations in process. This is File 012, The Union Breaker, Part 2, The Schedule. By morning, the department store still looked expensive. That was the trick. The marble floor was still reflecting the chandeliers. The perfume counters still glowed. The handbags sat beneath soft gold light, waiting to be touched by people who could afford to mistake leather for status. Customers entered through glass doors and saw elegance. They did not see the signal. They did not see the phones lighting up behind registers, inside lockers, beneath counters, in the stockroom, beside online pickup bins, and under customer service desks. They did not see workers reading the same message. Did they tell you the same thing? They did. And for one full day the store changed without appearing to have changed at all. That was the first rebellion's survival. It did not announce itself, it listened. A cashier saved a screenshot, a fragrance associate copied a schedule, a stockroom worker photographed a new attendance warning, a fulfillment lead wrote down the exact words his manager used. Direct communication, protect our culture, outside organizations, solve problems together. The words had been harmless when each worker heard them alone. Together, they became a fingerprint. The CEO did not know it yet. He still believed fear moved downward, from the executive floor to the regional leadership, from the regional leadership to the store directors, from the directors to the department managers, from department managers to the workers who needed rent, childcare, insurance, medications, hours. But the coder had reversed the current. Now fear was beginning to move upward. IMD operations in process. The coder sat alone in the ruined IMD offices. The analyst dead. The operator dead. The old chairs remained empty. The machine had taken the people's lives. It had not taken the function. So the coder built the function again, not with speeches, with structure. He opened the store map, fragrance, men's suits, handbags, customer service, fulfillment, stockroom, cash wrap, scheduling offices, human resources, loss prevention, 8 departments, 1 pressure system. The CEO's face stayed in the center, not because he touched every worker, but because every pressure protected him. That was the point of the modern corporation. No single hand on the throat, only policy, only process, only managers saying their hands were tied while tying the knot tighter. At 11:12 a.m., the first retaliation arrived. It did not look like retaliation. It looked like a schedule update. Maria Lopez fragrance. Closing shift changed to opening. Sunday added. Tuesday removed. The child care window was destroyed. No explanation, just a notification. Please confirm. Across the store, 3 more workers received changes. 1 in the stockroom, 1 in fulfillment, 1 in customer service. All 4 had opened the union signal. All 4 had saved the CEO's message. All 4 had been visible to the same assistant manager just the day before. The company called it operational need. The coder called it contact. He marked the scheduled changes in green. Then he waited. The second pressure arrived after lunch. A department manager pulled a young employee from the men's suits into a checkout. Glass office. Open blinds. Soft voices. No witnesses. We just want to make sure you feel heard. The employee nodded. The manager smiled. You know, outside groups can promise things that they'll never deliver. The employee nodded again. He remembered the instructions. Don't argue. Don't explain your fear to the people paid to measure it. Document the praise. Save the message. Map the pattern. The manager kept smiling. We're a family here. And there it was again. The employee left the office with his hands shaking. Inside his pocket, the phone recording remained dark. The coder received the file 13 minutes later. He did not celebrate. Fear was not victory. Fear was the material. He placed the recording beside the CEO's broadcast. Same phrase, same order, same emotional trap, direct, outside, family, together. The CEO still did not say union. That was why he was dangerous. The third pressure came from human resources. A mandatory listening session, small groups, 12 employees each, no agenda, managers present, HR present, no notes allowed. The coder read the invite twice, then sent the second instruction. Go, listen, say nothing. Let them repeat the script. The workers obeyed, not because they were fearless, but because fear finally had a place to go. In the listening session, HR talked about care. A manager talked about culture. A regional leader talked about uncertainty. Then she made the mistake. We have to protect this store from outside influencers. The room went quiet. The cashier looked at the fragrance associate. The fragrance associate looked at the stockroom worker. The stockroom worker looked at the fulfillment lead. No one smiled. No one spoke. Everyone heard it. Same words, same store, same mouth. That evening, the coder assembled the packet. Schedule changes, manager check-in, HR listening session, CEO broadcast, attendance warnings, shift cuts, policy reminders, a pattern of pressure dressed as management. Then he did what CEOs never understand. He did not release it. Not yet. Exposure too early became noise. Noise gave the CEO room to deny. The coder needed the CEO confident. He needed him comfortable. He needed him to believe the workers were still alone. So the coder built the next layer. A quiet router. Not a public list, not a reckless chat. A protected map of who had evidence, who needed protection, who had dependence, who could speak, who should not speak yet, who was being watched, who was being squeezed, who had already been punished by the schedule. The union was not born from anger. Anger was easy. The union gets born from discipline. In the ruined IMD room, the green map widened. The store was no longer a store. It was a pressure diagram. And for the first time, the workers were not the pressure points. They were the witnesses. At closing, the CEO sent another message. Shorter this time, warmer, more careful. I know there has been confusion. I want every member of our family to know my door is always open. The workers watched it in silence. The coder paused the video on the CEO's face. The smile, the office, the distance, the lie pretending to be concerned. Then he added one line to the target file. The CEO responded to the signal. That mattered because now the CEO was not reacting to rumors. He was reacting to organization, and every reaction created evidence. The coder looked at the empty chairs. The analyst would have named the fracture. The operator could have moved the blade. Now both tasks belonged to him. He spoke the principles alone: integrity, morality, decency. Then he sent the third instructions into the store. Do not let them isolate you. 2 minutes later, Maria Lopez looked up from her phone. Across the break room, the stock room worker looked up too. A customer service, a cashier, stopped pretending she was reading the return policy. In fulfillment, 3 workers stood beside the online pickup bins and nothing while understanding everything. The CEO had used the schedule to break them. The coder had turned the schedule into proof. That was how the wealthy began to fall. Not all at once. Not with thunder. First, their clean systems betray them. Then their language betrays them. Then their messages betray them by repeating what they had been trained to say. And finally, their workers stopped mistaking isolation for weakness. The machine still owned the store, but no longer owned the silence. IMD operation complete. The machine thinks it won. The machine has killed again, but machines do not grieve. The machine will try again tomorrow. The story is fiction. The systems are real. The investigation continues in the reader's court at markbertrand.com.